Travis Wayne Goodsall. This is a comment reply to Kadosh Live. Kadosh is Hebrew for sacred. And she is asking questions because of a fellow subscriber that triggered the algorithms to get her attention, who asked me a question recently. And they're not Mormon, obviously. And so there's a lot of information of background about the Mormon Church that I can't do for a single video for you. Having some technical difficulties at the moment. So the video that she's asking her questions came from Mormons covering up LDS church history and crimes in whitewashed satin. I had fun with that video picture, as I do with all pictures with women on them, as I've done the videos explaining the origin of that. It's because I'm Mormon. That's why. And if you're confused, yeah, everybody is. Mormonism is weird. It is unique. And so she asks what information. Well, the first one was the first person who came to my video had finally seen it and asked. She says, what damage did the Mormons do to you? So she's not Mormon, nor ex or former Mormon. How did you learn all of these secrets of theirs? And then another video that she had replied to me on another person's comment. No. Let me communicate with each of you individually, assuming that you're genuine in your questions and want to have discussions with me or ask questions of me. Do not interfere with that chain of communication. I will not allow your comments unless it supports the chain. I will allow it only then, because I hold all comments for review to protect people who seriously comment. And this is the only way to do it. If I were to let anybody comment, others who comment will be abused by trolls and Mormons who want revenge for daring to molest and make afraid the church. And so, Kadosh Live, I cannot approve your comments because it's piggybacking off of that. And I understand, because it's to my comment that I make in reply to her. And so I'm doing this video to comment for you, to reply to you, so that we can have our own chain communication. And after hearing the video, you may not ever want to come back because it'll be too scary. And so her first comment in reply to me was, what information did you what information did you have that made them want to make you disappear? And how did they find out? And what do you mean that they intended to erase you with murder? But it only lasted 6 years. What lasted 6 years? And then she adds another comment. Do you have photos of those receipts? I would love to see them. Yeah, I did the videos already. But I had already spent 2 hours and 10 minutes doing a video for you in reply, and only got up to West Valley City. And so I have to do the shorter one. I cannot explain all the problems with the church in one video. Can't do it. Can't even summarize it for one video. It's just too much information. And it's already out there. Just YouTube doesn't want to make it known easily to find. And if I had known in the beginning, back in 2014, technically 15, when I really got going after getting this laptop, and then the computer here, if I knew what this would lead to, rather than just going off of inspiration, I would have things organized, and I wouldn't be struggling to find time to get as much accomplished before 29 days are up, which is the Mormon day that shall burn as an oven from Malachi. As obviously you've got Jewish understanding, if not Jewish, you know exactly what I'm referring to from Malachi. The Mormons have a unique view on that. And so the receipts have to have a clarification about the church's corporate structure. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a corporation of the President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, first incorporated in end of October 1923 under Heber J. Grant. The church keeps secrets from us as Mormons. It's called indoctrination. And with that incorporation, Mormons now become chattel. We are slaves to the church. The church is a corporation designed to recruit the payment to the church. And so as Mormons, once we are baptized and have membership, we are only of value to the church with the money that we give them in tithing and other offerings. Again, from Malachi, but they twisted it. Section 119 is Brigham Young's edition that he framed Joseph Smith for in our Doctrine and Covenants scripture, in which it lays out the whole purpose for payments to the church as priestcraft and criminal organization structure. And because of my educational background, becoming an anthropologist of the ancient Middle East, I'm able to use that knowledge in researching anything in any time period, anywhere around the world. And so I've done it with my own church history of the Mormon Church of Joseph Smith, the transition into Brigham Young, which is a branch off. But of course the Mormons deny this. They claim true succession. So yes, there are many things about Mormonism that the world does not know and understand because of being Jewish, being Christian, being Islamic, being Buddhist, Hindu, or atheist. They don't know the uniquenesses of Mormonism. And that allows the church some protection from the government and from prosecution, as their whole purpose is to get their kingdom back at the expense of Mormons being used as a sacrificial lamb to destroy the United States of America, to get it back. Thus the 29 days. Joseph Smith, the founder of the church, knew about this threat to America, that they were using the Bible prophecies of the latter days to cause the destruction of America. And so, not only using Malachi with the day that shall burn as an oven, but also from the Christian culturally appropriated Jewish scriptures of the Gospels and the book of Revelation specifically, because there's actual star dates given in there. And so this corporate structure are the ones who only approve and sign for any payment to go out. They have numerous business entities, but they all act under the orders of the church prophets, who are the corporate board of directors. Everybody must be asked to do something and approved of doing something, otherwise they have no work to do. And so for advertising, for example, the church has an advertising agency, but the church tells them what they want as advertising, and then they make it, and they have to get it approved by the church, and then they have to pay for it, but they have to get approval to pay for it by the church, who signs the checks. That's how it works. Everything goes through the prophets for approval. Not a single thing is done in the church rogue, no matter how good intentioned the Mormon is. And so the receipts are told to us over the pulpits of conference. Every time there's a temple announced, it's because the church had paid the government of that state, country, city, to purchase the land to build a temple. And so when we have enemies of America like Russia and China, and our president of the church gets up at conference and announces that a temple is to be built in an enemy nation, we know that they are not doing it for religious purposes only, but for criminal activity of that enemy nation. So Nelson, for example, when he first took over as president of the church, he said, hey, we got a temple in Russia. And to this date, ground has not been broken for that temple. What happened to the money? The church gave Russia money for a temple, and Russia, according to their business practices, compromised the church with criminal money, $32 billion to be exact, for the church to then criminally launder into the stock market. All of that just because Nelson announced a temple in Russia. And thus, they funded terrorist threats on America with cyber terrorism, and also funded the war in Ukraine with that money that the church gave them, which money came from Mormon tithing. That is in the Articles of Incorporation from 1923. That's all Mormons are for, to give the church money under the guise of a religion. And so specifically with me, this deals with my filing a petition for a redress of grievances against the church and the state of Utah in the state of Utah. I already knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. But I was under attack through numerous ways, because that's how the church raises its Mormons. And like I said, 2 hours, 10 minutes, and I only got to West Valley City to summarize just to answer your question. And already we're at 15 minutes. And so, I'll put pictures and receipts at the end of this video if you're still listening. But when they paid for advertising on the main person who had me disappeared, after that person disappeared me under the orders of the church originally, that's the receipt, because the prophets approved of that advertising, not the advertising agency. They didn't do it rogue. They didn't say, oh, let's go buy advertising on this person's website to advertise about the church, to come to church. No, it was a thank you receipt, a payment for services rendered. And I tried to use that in a federal lawsuit after I found it. But yeah, the church compromised our federal government as well. And so when you see that the church is involved with the Respect for Marriage Act, with their exemption clause amendment that allowed it to get passed, yeah, the church is tampering with our government. The church is involved with a secret combination hate group called the Council for National Policy. And the church has representatives on there to do their bidding. And that organization has been operating since 1981, causing all of the problems in America for the sole purpose of overthrowing America and restoring a monarchy for the church. And so, yeah, many of the atrocities that have been going on in America all trace back to this organization and thus to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So, yeah, that's the receipts. And so on. I see in the news that Steve Bannon was involved with tampering with the 2016 election. Yeah, he's a member on that Council for National Policy that the church is running and controlling. The Trump impeachment proceedings, he had a lawyer. That lawyer also a member in that secret combination. And then lately, the Supreme Court justices were not only put in by this group, but they are also, one of the members on that group were the one who connected them to the billionaires that are compromising the justices, not just bribing them. There's a reason why they're being bribed, so that they can overthrow Roe v. Wade and other certain things that group, i.e. the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, wants accomplished. So, yeah, lots of abominations and atrocities going on, and it still took 20 minutes.